but first of all, thank you so much, France, for being here and then teaching us how to fix our curriculum. I think that we really need it. We really needed that help. People, if you want to have more information about France, not France the country, but France the person
Yeah,
that
I
you.
know. I know. I'm from France. I know it's funny.
France, do you want to do your own introduction? Because I feel like your role is very. It's like a lot of things all together. Like it's you're a coaching, but also like HR.
Yeah.
How do you describe your role?
I've been, I mean, working in HR for 20 years roughly, and I've created my own company 5 years ago, which is called Move RH. RH mean HR, but upside down. And I have two different kind of activities. I am a headhunter, meaning that I am still recruiting people for different kind of clients, mainly marketing, sales, and mainly in the software industry. And the rest of the time, I am a coach in employability and career. So I work for different business schools, as you know, and I worked as well with individual people, helping them to build their career, to build their future, giving them advice. Sometimes they need to have a boost, to push themselves forward, etc., etc. So yeah, that's what I do, and I do it mainly in France. But I am lucky because I work with many people from all over the world, thanks to the different business schools. So yeah, that's it. So normally I should be able to give you some tips on CV, because I think I probably read thousands of CV every year, so I'm quite used to see all the details and everything. So yeah, let's
Yeah.
let's talk about CV. If you have questions, guys, I would be more than happy to answer it.
And actually, France was also my teacher at the business school, and she was the
Yep.
one that taught me how bad my CV was back then. Yes, and
Yes.
she was the one that was able to like help me to fix it and actually get a job after. So that's the reason why I wanted to bring her in front of you, because I remember it was very inspiring to me. So I think that it's gonna be very useful for you.
Thank you, Julia.
Of course.
So, you want some information about CV or resume? Just want to remind you guys that it's a brief summary of your personal and professional background. So, meaning you will mention, of course, your experiences, your skills, and your educational background as well. The idea, of course, of a CV is to sell yourself to potential employers. So whether it's for internships or jobs, and that's clearly the main purpose of the CV. Even if I think the CV is going to disappear within the next years, I really think it's really different now compared to before, because we have a lot of recruiters are using LinkedIn now more to recruit, and a lot of startups are using CV, but video CV. So I guess in a couple of years, I mean, not a couple of years, but in a few years, probably CV will disappear, but it's still there. So you really need to work on it, because that's the main point of access to a job. So that's really important.
Next slide, I guess.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, so why is it so important? Because, of course, you need to grab attention. It's important for you as well to design a nice layout in order to keep your reader engaged, and as well to stand out of the crowd, because as you know, Julia, there is lots of competition
Oh yeah.
all
Oh
over
yeah.
Europe. So of course, if you want to grab the attention of the recruiter, you really need to work on your CV, the content and the design as well. Just to give you an example, guys, sometimes when I used to be HR director, I used to receive like 500 CVs. And honestly, when you receive so many CVs and you don't have like an applicant tracking system to check the CV, so it's only yourself as a human being who is reading the CV, of course, you never open the 500 CVs. So you open the first ones. And if you find attractive CV, you will go with those people. So that's why it's really important that you do stand out from the crowd, and that you can grab the attention of your reader. So yeah, the idea is, of course, of the CV, and why is it so important to write a powerful CV? It's because you really need to show your credibility and your legitimacy as a candidate. A CV is a bit different, of course, because I mean, a CV, you tell your story in a CV, even if it's not like storytelling, like in a cover letter, but still you have to tell your story, but you have to sum up informations. And the idea, as I said, is really to convince the recruiter that you are the right person for the job, so that you deserve to get an interview. Because of course, the goal of a CV is to get an interview, and the goal of the interview is obviously to get the job. So if you don't do the first step, writing a powerful CV, you will probably have troubles to pass the second stage, which is to get an interview. So that's why it's really important. Yeah, sorry. So that's this one. Yeah, the goal of the resume is to get the interview, and of course you may be the best candidate over the world. If your CV is wrong, if you don't follow the right codes, you won't be selected. You won't be selected by the human being, but you won't be selected either by the applicant tracking system. So I'm not sure if everyone is really up to date with what is an applicant tracking system.
We had
But
a couple of streams where we were talking about that, but please explain it.
yeah, it's a kind of platform, that companies are using, and they're using algorithm, artificial intelligence, to select some keywords aligned with what they are looking for. So that's why it's really important to work carefully your CV with with lots of details in there, and to make sure that you write the right keywords on your CV to be selected by the robots. I'm not sure if in this presentation I gave examples, but I may be able to send you guys, if you're interested, a PDF document that I created in English, where you have information about algorithms, CVs, and everything. So yeah, it's quite important. What you need to understand, of course, you have your own perspective as a candidate, but you really need to understand as well the perspective of the employer, because I can tell you that recruiting is a lot of pressure, because it costs lots of money when we make it wrong. It's really important for us as a recruiter, for a recruiter when they are working for a company, because for me it's a bit different now. I work for clients as a headhunter, but still I have a lot of pressure because I want my clients to be happy. So you really need to understand that it's a lot of pressure for them, and it's really hard to evaluate someone on a resume or on an interview, because you don't have much time to do so. So that's why, if you want to be the right candidate, and if you want the recruiter to select your application, that's why it's really important that you put all your efforts. Even if it's going to take, of course, lots of time to build a strong CV, but it's really important to put all those efforts to attract people attention, and to be sure that they will understand who you are, who you really are. That's why it's so important. So try to understand the recruiter or the employer is the first thing. Try to think, okay, I need to do something. I need to build an impacting CV, because they really need to see all my information briefly, quickly, and because they are afraid as well to make the wrong decision. So they may spend sometimes looking different CVs. So I want mine to be selected, and I don't want them to lose their time. So yeah, I'll do my best to have like a powerful, impacting CV. Of course, there is no perfect resume. That doesn't exist. And I'm going to give you some generic tips. But it's important that you work on the structure, on the content, and you need to make sure that your content is going to be understandable for everyone. So I'm not sure if all the people online tonight are looking for a job in their own country, or if they are looking for a job elsewhere in Europe. But in any case, because of course it's even harder if you apply in another country, but you need to make sure that you are going to be understood. So you need to respect the rules of the country, of course.
Chat is saying anywhere. They're looking for jobs anywhere.
Okay. I can help you. I've got lots of options for anywhere in the world. No, but of course it depends. You are going to build your own skeleton of CV, but after that you need to, to put some clothes on it, and you need to design it depending on the country. And of course, every recruiter, every employer is going to have his own, its own wish, his own personal taste, his own preferences. And you will never get the same advice. If you ask 10 different recruiters, you will get 10 different answers. Because it depends on the country, it depends on the job itself, it depends on the activity that you are targeting, it depends on a lot of factors, sorry. But it's important, when you want to adapt your CV, it's really important that you gather as many information as possible about the company to try to adapt to their values, to the way they are, to their DNA. So that's why you can't send the same CV 10 times without adapting the CV. You really need to do something specific for each company. I mean, you can have, once again, your own skeleton, but after that, you need to change few details. So that would be my first advice, is really to adapt your CV to the values, to the DNA of the company. Example, of course, if you apply for a startup, they are looking for people with, creativity, innovation spirit. So in that case, you need to show that on your CV. And if you are applying to a bank or a finance department, it will have to be, of course, more classic, more structure, respecting all the specific codes. So that's why you really need first to define the kind of position, the kind of sectors you will be targeting before writing your CV. Otherwise, you need to write, and I know it's going to drive you crazy, guys, but you need to write maybe 2-3 different CVs to be able just to send it, as soon as you find the right job offers, you can just send one without changing anything. So yeah, that would be the best, probably, to have a couple of different CVs to be always ready.
Before, you were talking about the ATS, and I have a question in chat just asking, does the ATS care about customizing the CV? So how the CV is customized?
The design, not really. Applicant tracking system, robots, they can't read anywhere. They can't read the logos. They can't read columns. They can only read words. So the most important is the keywords, of course. But probably you will use a specific platform where you have different templates. And I will give you at the end of the session few good place where you can go and have a look to create a template. Otherwise, you can create your own template on PowerPoint. But if you do that, you need to be really good with the tool, because everything needs to be perfect. So that's why I always advise people to use the templates online on some specific CV website. But yeah, applicant tracking system, you need to know that nowadays, 98% of the Fortune 500 companies in the world are using applicant tracking system. Meaning there is the robots, which is going to, detail your CV first before it goes to the hand of a human being. So that's why you really need to be sure that you have the right keywords. And for that, my only advice would be select 4 or 5 job offers which are of your interest for the same job in the same activity. Let's say, for instance, you want to work in luxury and you want to be marketing assistant. Select 5 ads, 5 posts, 5 job offers in the luxury as marketing assistants, and check the keywords on those 5 job offers. And if you find 5 times the same words, the same keywords, like they are looking for someone with creativity, which is normal for a marketing job, but just to give you an example, it means on your CV, you need to be sure that the word creativity will appear. Except if you don't have any creativity, but in that case, for a marketing job, of course, that's just to give an example, but that's really important. And getting 5 different job offer is probably the best exercise, because if you see it 5 times, it's a good representation of what people are looking in the same sector, within the same job. So that's an example of a CV. So I'm not sure if you can see very well because it's quite small. But guys, you need to know that 6.5 seconds is the time you have to convince. I mean, recruiter only spend, it depends on the countries, but roughly in Europe, we say that people spend less than 10 seconds, just to give you an average, looking at your CV. And where you see the red mark, it's where people are really looking, recruiters are really looking. And then the yellow ones And at the end, you know, they're looking at the kind of purple ones. But as you can see, they look very, very quickly. You know, it's an exercise that I often ask my students to do, and they can't do it in 6.5 seconds or in 10 seconds because you really need to get used to it to do it so quickly. I think it's not fair because 10 seconds is not enough. I spend myself more time because I respect people, and I think, you know, they spend a lot of time writing on the CVs, so you really need to to give them a chance. So you need to spend time, but most of the recruiters, they will spend less than 10 seconds. So that's why you need to have an impacting CV, and you need to have the right keywords at the right place on the CV.
Mm-hmm.
This one is not the best example because that's more like an American one because it's
Mm-hmm.
on 2 pages. In Europe, we don't do 2 pages, we do one
Mm-hmm.
page only. But yeah, that's to give you an example.
I have a question. Does the ATS get applied also in those jobs where like there's maybe five applicants, or is it more for like mass applications?
It's more for mass, you know. Let's say it's more for big companies, medium-sized companies as well. But if you apply in a small company because you want to work, you know, local, and you want to work in a small company, there hardly any chance that they are using an applicant tracking system because, of course, it costs lots of money, and it's really useful if you have lots of applicants. But I can tell you that L'Oreal or Coca-Cola or Google or whatever, they're all using, of course, that kind of applicant tracking system because they receive too many applications to deal with it every day. And that's really helpful to have like, you know, a robot selecting the CV first. And after that, of course, it reduces the number of applicants, and it's easier for you as a recruiter to select all the people that you want to meet for an interview.
Oh, oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's a bit what I was saying just before. So it's really important to adapt yourself. So that's why I was asking you guys if you are applying in Europe or in another country. And even within Europe, it's very different because we have some specific, rules, specific culture. Northern people in Europe maybe will, do it differently than southern people in Europe. But mostly in Europe, it's quite similar. But of course, each country has its own codes. And for instance, if you apply in the US or in Canada, they have like anti-discrimination law, so you can't put any information, pictures, marital status, age, date of birth, etc. That doesn't exist over there, of course. But in France, for instance, it's quite important to have a picture, but something, it depends as well on the kind of sector that you are applying to. For a French resume or an English resume, in any case, it's 1 page max, 1 picture. So I don't know how old are the people who are following us tonight online, but if they are still young anyway, they probably only have 1 page on their CV. You start to have maybe 2 pages if you have like 20 years experience, over 20 years. So I'm not sure that we have lots of people in that case, but maybe. But for someone with still quite junior, the rule is really to have 1 page. And to speak at the third person in English, in an English CV, and usually to use the past and action verbs in the past, because you want to show that the action is, it's done and you've been successful. So that's why usually you speak in the past, like when you write, you want to talk about an implementation, you would say something like implemented that software, coordinated that project, that kind of thing, or conducted interviews or drove specific stuff. So you always speak in the past. And in France, for instance, we use more like infinitive verb to describe what we do on a CV. So, and it's the same in most of the Italy, Spain. So it depends if you want to write your CV in English or if you want to write your CV in your own language, of course.
Just to let you know, we're mostly from Europe. Like,
okay.
It's not we're mostly from Europe, but we mostly would like to apply in Europe.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
I cannot read I cannot read it, but it's 80% would like to apply in Europe.
Okay, cool.
So,
but some people are outside of Europe and they want to apply in Europe.
In North America and Asia, a little bit, way less, like the rest.
So it means next time maybe we can talk about visa as well, because
Oh
of course
yeah.
you need a
Oh,
specific visa.
that would be amazing to talk
Yeah.
about visas. I think that would be very, very interesting.
Yeah, I can do something, and we can talk next time if you want about yeah, working in France and the specific rules if you get a job in France. But anyway,
Yeah,
that's next time.
yeah, exactly, Chad.
No,
If you, if
I'm always in the next step, you know.
of course, thinking about the
Let's
future.
let's talk
Um,
about.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, Chad. If you are liking this kind of content, let me know either here or on Twitter, so then I know that you like it, because France has a huge baggage of knowledge that we can take like advantage of. So we can definitely create like a whole series where we talk about cover letters, the usage of LinkedIn, or and visas at this point.
Onboarding, negotiating your salary.
Negotiating your salary, I think that would be very, very interesting. Because I think that many of us are a little bit like, okay.
It's hard. There is few tips, but it's hard, yeah, clearly. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's decide that if you want at the end of the session or
of
next time.
course.
Yeah,
Of
sure.
course. The next one.
Yeah, so it's important, and I'll be able, guys, something, if you want me to send you the PDF document I was talking about, I can send you some example of CV, like template CV, or I can send you links where you can find some templates. But it's really important to have what we call a summary or a statement at the top of the CV, meaning
Okay.
that you need to project your career objective or professional objective. So it's like a kind of short description of what you want to do, about your goals, and usually about your skills, your education. So yeah, I think I gave an example here. Yeah, 2 or 3 lines usually. It's quite short, but you know, like motivated student with a first internship experience as a sales representative is interested in working as a business developer, developing negotiating knowledge skills in sales techniques. And then just right under, you can just mention that you are looking for a job from July 22. It's really important to always mention the months, or otherwise you can just say looking immediately. But if you are looking for an internship, for instance, it's really important to mention the length of the internship for the robots, you know, for the algorithm, and the starting date. I mean, like from June to, you know, 6 months after, to December, for instance, because that really helps to be selected by the robots.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, you know, if they don't have any mention of anything on the CV, they won't know that you are looking for a CV straight away. You know, I speak with my hands like Italian people. I keep on moving.
Chad is used to. Like everyone there is used, they're used to.
I don't realize, but I keep doing that. Sorry about that. Yeah, so this is really important, guys. At the top of the CV, just write under your name, first name, email, and everything, that you put like a statement, a few lines of statement. Okay.
This is really interesting, because when we were talking about we were analyzing some CVs before you came here. I was actually wondering, like, what is the usage of having that? Because many CV have it, and I was like, and then now we know. Now it's for the
it's
robot.
really to express your goal and to make sure that the recruiter will understand straight away your goals. And what you can do as well, you can put some words in bold to attract the attention, to catch the attention of the recruiter. You know, for instance, here we could put sales representative in bold, developing negotiation knowledge in bold. So at least the recruiter, even if it doesn't take much time to read your CV, he will be attracted, you know, by, you know, by those words, and that will give him an idea straight away of what you are looking for.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, first tips are really important. Stick with the basics. So fonts needs to be Arial, Verdana, or Time New Romance. Arial, Verdana are the best. Time New Romance is another option, but really Arial, Verdana, that's usually the codes for a CV.
Are those? Is that because of the computer recognize them better, or is it like from a graphic point of view? Like
both. It's better recognized by the recruiter, and usually we said that it's easier for a reader, you know, to catch those kinds. So that's why don't play around. You know, I see a lot of CVs people are using on Canva, for instance. They use templates on Canva. I don't know if you all familiar with Canva. But they have multiple options, and honestly, at the end, you can't read the CV because it's, you know, specific, like Gothic letters or something, or cursive letters. It can be hard to read. So that's why stick with Arial Verdana. Maybe your title can be in capital letters, and policy as well is really important, size 11 or 12.
So,
For
sorry,
an old lady,
I have to interrupt you just to tell something to chat. Chat, no Comic Sans, please. Comic
no,
Sans
no, no,
is a horrible font
no,
that
it's
you should
impossible to
delete.
read. Yeah,
Please.
clearly. I know a lot of young people are using it, but it's not clearly not. And yeah, and the size as well is really important. So not only for an old lady like me, you know, who is wearing glasses and needs to see clearly the letter, but because it's the rule, usually 11, 12. And we recommend that you don't use more than 2 different kind of policies and 2 different kind of colors on a CV. 3 is really the max, you know. So if you do a CV, you can do it in black and white, or maybe you can put some blue, but no more than 3 colors, because at the end it looks like you know, the rainbow, and you can't read it.
Yes.
It's really important as well to be consistent in spacing and caps. And I am really a hunter of that kind of things. You know, I drive my students crazy, but their CV are really perfect after I've read it, because, you know, there is always like a bullet point or a small comma which is at the wrong place, or, you know, small details. But keep in mind that recruiter, they receive lots of CVs, so you need to be perfect. Everything needs to be perfect. So that's why maybe you can ask someone to read your CV again. Don't send me all of your CV, because I won't be able to read it, you know. But I mean, ask someone. I would be happy to do it for 1 or 2 CVs, and we can do it online if someone wants to ask, you know, to check his CV online. I mean, I don't know if we have enough time, but maybe we can do it. But yeah, it's important that you ask one of your friends or your parents or whoever to read once again your CV, because most of the time you don't really see the mistakes anymore, you know, because you spend so much time on it. So yeah, that would be the first tips to have like an impacting CV regarding the design.
By policy, do you mean like
The size,
the
yeah.
size? Okay,
Sorry,
okay.
policy. I meant it's probably a wrong translation from. Yeah, I probably translated from police in French. Yeah, yeah. Really,
It's fine.
it's the size.
It's fine.
You know, I do
Okay.
everything in English and French, and sometimes I mix when I do my translation. Sorry.
Understandable, very much understandable. And Romanino, thank you for the sub. Then.
Yeah, so caution, don't make mistakes. That's, as I was saying, really important, because lots of competitions, of course. So typo, grammar mistakes, spelling errors. When you are unclear as well, when you write information, you know, but you put too many lines, and at the end we don't understand exactly the point. When you use too many buzzwords, like, you know, all the fashion words at the moment, and you put it at some, you know, everywhere on the CV, and at the end something we can't really understand what you do, and we lose interest. So it's really important to be consistent in the CV, and to, once again, not make mistakes, because your CV will finish into the bin. You know, 1 mistake, 2 mistakes, and at the end, the HR director or the recruiter will bin it, because, of course, he's got some other CV to look at.
What do you think about the Europass template?
Which one?
The Europass, the European one that it's been.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, of course. After that, it really depends. Once again, it really depends what you're targeting, what kind of companies you're targeting. You know, when you target, for instance, the automotive sector, or if you target the luxury sector, or if you target the industry in general, you won't use the same kind of templates. So maybe you won't use that kind of European Pass CV. It depends. After that, my advice would be to feel comfortable with your CV. So, I mean, I could give you any advice, but in any case, you're going to sell yourself. So you need to find a CV which look like you, if I could say it that way, you know. It's very important. So yeah, picture, because we always talk about pictures. So yeah, it depends. It depends, of course. on the countries. For Ireland, Netherlands, Sweden, and Australia, it depends. As we said, for US, Canada, and even UK, they don't really use a picture. But in any case, I guess you all have, guys, a LinkedIn account, or you will all have very soon a LinkedIn account, which is just professional social media. And in any case, it's mandatory to have a picture on LinkedIn. That's part of the rules. I mean, it's not mandatory, like nothing is going to happen to you if you do it. But if you want to enhance your visibility, you need, of course, that's what I mean. You need, of course, to have a picture. So even if you don't put a picture on your CV because you don't want to, keep in mind that 98% of the recruiters will check on LinkedIn your profile, so they will see your face anyway. So it's better, I guess, to put it on the CV if you have the right template to do so, and if you feel at your ease with your picture.
I'm just asking, making a poll to see if chat has LinkedIn, because I think that it would be interesting to know. Yeah, yes, no, just to know if you have it. Then we're not gonna get into the detail of like how much do you use it, because I feel like a lot of people don't really use it as much as, like, I feel like a lot of people don't understand the potential that LinkedIn can have.
Yeah, but I guess it depends as well on the age of the people, the average age. I mean, if we have people online who are still very young, probably they don't really understand, as you said, the power of this tool. But if you want, and that's another subject that we can do as well, is network. Network is so important when you are looking for a job. So you build your network from LinkedIn. So that's why if people don't have a LinkedIn account, I think they should create one. And that would probably enhance their visibility as well regarding their job search. Okay, so yeah, some employers will say that it's really important because, of course, they can make a connection with you if they see your picture. But I think it's really a personal decision. So I won't comment, even in France, if normally we do it, most of European countries, we do it. I always tell people, if you don't feel, at your ease putting your CV, don't put it. Your CV, your picture, sorry.
Do you think that it also depends from the industry that you want to enter to? Like, for example, I feel like if you want to do like social media or marketing and these kind of things, like they might require your picture because it's more like, I don't know. But if it's software developer, they really don't care.
Exactly. And if you apply in luxury, once again, luxury, you have to put your picture because they really look as well at,
Yeah, the appearance.
The appearance, exactly. And that's scary. And I'm going to show you in the next slide. Actually, I think it's in the next one if you want. Yeah, it's probably in the next. But it's really important. Don't worry, it's after. But it's really, this one.
Okay.
That's a tool that you can use, guys. It's called Visage Lab. And you can modify your picture if you don't feel happy with your picture because on that day you had some spot on your face or whatever and you want to change it. You see, that's the example before, after. And you see that you can make lots of improvements. And this other one is called Photo Filler, and it's a website, it's an application, a platform when people can evaluate your picture and people vote. It's like there is a poll as well and they vote on it, and it's really scary. Not on that example because it's on another slide that I have, but you can see sometimes for a lady, for instance, if she's not wearing any makeup or if she's not, her hair is not really well done, people will not grade her with a good grade regarding the leadership, the fact that she's competent for the job or not, or influential for the job. And there is an example where you see 3 different pictures. She's like normal, no makeup, nothing. People think she's not influential. She doesn't have leadership. Next one, she's, well dressed. It's a bit better. People think she's influential. And the last picture, she's perfectly well dressed and her hair is perfectly done. Her makeup is perfectly done. And people think at 95% that she has leadership. So it's really to show you how much the appearance is important, unfortunately, because I think it's silly, but unfortunately it's really important. So that's why you can, have a look at those platforms as well and see It's fun actually to see, and you can vote for
Yeah,
people. So
it's scary, but yes,
scary on the other. You know, it's scary,
it's
honestly.
scary how much our image can influence something like
Yeah,
that.
but you know, we are in the era of marketing and
Mm-hmm.
you know, social media and everything, and yeah, that's part of
Mm-hmm.
it. You know
Yeah.
that better than me because I'm not into that. All that. I don't follow any specific influencer online, but I know that people are really, yeah, impressed by the appearance. So it's important to keep that in mind, even if it's only a picture on a CV. But if you just want to go back to the previous one, Julia, yeah, just want to remind you guys, if you have a picture, I mean, I don't care if you do have one or not, but if you add a picture on your CV, make sure it's professional. Make sure it's not a picture when you are in a bar, you know, with the hand of your friend just next to it, or you are in your garden with lots of flowers. No, do something like a business portrait.
Makes
Otherwise, you
sense.
will lose your credibility. Okay,
Uh,
so
s-
whether you use one or not, it doesn't really matter. It's really up to you. But at least use a business portrait. That would be my advice.
Someone once said, "Isn't it unprofessional to have a picture as one of the judging elements?" I agree. It is unprofessional, but unfortunately, that's how our work
World
is. Like when
works.
you go
Yeah,
to the grocery shop, you maybe get something that is unhealthy just because it has a good package compared to something that is more organic and everything. Just
exactly. Marketing,
unfortunately.
marketing. And that's why I keep telling my students all the time and the people that I coach, you need to think of yourself as a product. When you go to the shop, you know, as you said, you want to buy the best product, organic, with the nice design, a nice package. It's the same. People will be more attracted to you if you look, you know, well dressed. Everything is perfect.
Then,
No, can you just go back to
oh,
the
sure.
previous one? Sorry. Yeah, this one. Just wanted to remind you as well that there is two ways to do resume. You can do it in what we call anti-chronologic order. So it's the reverse chronological order. You know, the oldest experience at the bottom, the most recent one at the top. Otherwise, you can do, but it's for people with more experience. You can do like a functional resume where you can emphasize some achievements, and you can organize it by theme or by groups. You know, if you worked in different fields throughout your career, let's say you work in automotive, you worked in luxury, you can, you know, organize by kind of paragraphs, but it's more for people with like lots of experience. So I guess for you guys, it's the best is to do a reverse chronological order CV. So the oldest one at the bottom and the most recent experience or the most recent degree at the top. Always like that. Okay. Yeah, just to remind you, so 6.5 seconds to convince, of course. It's important as well that, as I said, you have a clear resume. So that's, I guess, the challenge, because sometimes you want to say a lot of things about yourself, but you need to decide what should be on and what should not be on the CV, because it doesn't, you need to make sure that it's not going to be too light or it's not going to packed, because if it's too light, you know, people won't really find interest in your CV, and if it's too packed, they won't be able to read through your CV. So that's why you need to find the right balance, and I know it's not easy. But sometimes if you had like some old experiences, like you did some babysittings, or it was like 5 years ago, you can delete that if you have, you know, more recent experience. But if you are just starting and you're looking for your first internships, of course it can be important in that case to fill in information with babysitting, or if you gave some mathematics lessons or English lessons to some kids or whatever, you know, to give some content to your CV.
So if we had like just only not important summer jobs, like not important, but like
Yeah.
small first jobs, we should still include them. We should not.
If you
If
don't have
we
much experience,
exact,
yes. If you are 19 years old and you've just started, you know,
yeah.
working, of course it's better to have babysitting, or, you know, walking the dog of your neighbors or whatever, to show that you are doing some stuff, you know, because recruiters are going to value more people who are working hard, you know, to pay their study, or who are working aside, like summer job or part-time job, than someone who has absolutely no experience. Um, that's why it depends on how many years of experience you have, but that's really important. Yeah.
Okay.
And as I was saying, yeah, keywords, it's for the algorithm, the applicant tracking system. It's really important because it's going to be automatic screening. And after that, it's going to be screened by people. So that's why keywords are essentials on your CV. So you really need to highlight your strengths. Even if you don't have much experience, it doesn't really matter, but make sure that you are going to talk about your soft skills, your hard skills, you know, who you are, your assets, what you can bring, what is your potential. And if they understand your potentials, you have chances to be selected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anonymous, for the 2 sub.
Okay. This is the STAR method, which is a method which is really important. I don't know if you can write in the chat, Julia, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. STAR is I can't see very well from here because it's really small, so I'm not sure if people can see it as well or if they see
wait,
it.
I'll make it bigger.
But I know myself, I know the content, so that I'm okay. But yeah, it stands for situation, tasks, actions, result. Okay, so that's why it's really easy to remember. STAR, situation, task, action, results. So situation is the context and the role you're in. So let's say you worked in L'Oreal as a marketing assistant. I don't know why I always talk about L'Oreal, but whatever. So you worked in L'Oreal as an assistant marketing, for instance. So that's the situation. And you can describe precisely what you did. You can give a specific explanation of it. The tasks are the tasks that you faced, you know. So you describe the task, you describe the challenge that you had to face to accomplish your mission. So you really need to be concise and specific, so you can use some bullet points. So that's really easy to use that method for your CV because that's going to help you to be more concise. You don't remember that from classes?
Me? Yes, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, otherwise it meant you were sleeping during that.
Yes.
It was a while ago, actually. So I won't be offensive if you don't remember. But that's really easy to remember. And that's something, guys, that you can use for your CV to structure your CV. But that's something you can use as well during interviews to organize yourself. So situation, the tasks, and the actions that you did to perform your tasks, to be successful in your task. Okay, so you can describe the action. You can detail a few specific steps. And at the end, you give the result. It means what you achieved. What did you perform, you know, and you can explain with action verb what you perform. You can describe the outcome of your actions. So let's say, for an example, to be concrete, you were working as a community manager, maybe for a large company, let's say, once again, L'Oreal. So your missions were to implement a strategy, digital strategy. You had to open, I don't know, a TikTok account, for instance, you know, to attract the young generation. And the result, thanks to your work at the end, you know, you can put a little arrow at the end of the CV and you can mention that thanks to your work, you created a community, you gained 10K followers on TikTok. You know, it's always to prove that your work is valuable for a next potential recruiter, that what you did was good, that you contributed to the success of the company. So that's why it's really easy to remember: situation, task, action, and the result. STAR.
This is really interesting. It's because sometimes when we write the bullet points, they're like a little bit empty, and this can be very useful.
So my advice would be maybe to have like 3-4 bullet points and a little arrow at the end with the result, the contribution. So you don't need to write contribution, or you don't need to write result dot. You can just do a little arrow, design a little arrow, and you put the result, and people will understand that's your contribution to the job. And same thing, you can use it during an interview. So that's what I would say. The elements which are really important on your CV. Your contact details. So your contact details, guys, it's your first name, your name, surname, first name, email address, phone number. Don't forget to put +33 if you apply in Europe and from another country. Your LinkedIn account, if you do have a LinkedIn account, and usually we require people to create a URL, you know, when we can click directly on the LinkedIn, and we are directly sent to the LinkedIn platform. So it's really easy to do that on Excel or PowerPoint to create a URL. Your education is really important. Your statement at the top, as I said, like a motivated student, blah, 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 your goal, let's say, statement/goal. Your educational background, of course. Your work or internship experience, if you do have some. Your volunteering experience. In some countries, people do a lot of volunteering. So that's really important as well to show that you are empathetic, that you are open to others. A section with your soft skills and your hard skills, and we're going to talk about that in 2 seconds. Your languages, of course, if you do apply in Europe and you speak different languages, you need to mention it. And the last section would be your hobbies and center of interest, of course, to create a connection with the recruiter as well, you know. And of course, if you do practice some sports, you know, or you are kind of competitor, or you have been playing piano for 15 years, that's something really important to mention, because it shows that you are someone who can, you know, I can't find my word now, but you know, that you can work very hard, and you have like a good spirit, a competition spirit.
And a question: what if I, let's say, I'm a pro gamer on League of Legends, to say one game? Should I add it into the curriculum, or how is it seen, gaming, from companies right now?
Gaming is quite, no, gaming, esport, it's really commune now. Before it used to be a bit like, oh, it's only the nerd or the geek, you know. And now I think it's so much natural for everyone, you know. Even all the platform like Twitch, Instagram, I mean, all the digital marketing tools, all of that, you need to mention it, of course, because it's new technologies. So of course you won't say on your CV that you spend 20 hours per day working on a League of Legends or whatever. I mean, playing, but you can just mention the fact that you like video games. Of course, it's not a shame. It used to be a few years, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but now I think it's quite, you know, it's part of people's lives. So yeah, of course, if it's your hobby, don't lie on your hobby. Be honest.
Okay.
It's important.
Then you said that we will talk more about soft and hard skills later.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah. Here we are. The main differences between hard skills and soft skills. So guys, I don't know if you are aware of that, if it's something you're familiar with, but the hard skills is really what you gain through your experience, your education, your certification. So for instance, back office is a hard skill. Using Twitch is an hard skill. English is an hard skill. Your driving license is an hard skill. You know, anything which is related to your education, your training, certifications. But on the other hand, soft skills, it's more what you gain through your life experience or through your educations, or both. It could be at work, outside of work, but it's really who you are, the competencies that you developed as a person. So that's why you have to use, of course, both of them. And I think I have an example on the next slide, if I remember well, or the one. That's examples of soft skills, guys, that you can use on a CV. Of course, don't lie on your CV. Use soft skills that you clearly have. And even if you still need to improve them, of course, because we all need to improve ourselves, you know. So you can be good at problem solving, but of course you can still improve yourself and be even better. Adaptability, critical thinking, stress management, emotional intelligence. It's quite famous those past 2 years. I think that's the soft skills from 2020, which were the most famous in 2020. Time management, effective communication, etc., etc. I have list as well of soft skills, so if you're interested, I can share it with you, or we can talk about soft skills more in depth next time. But that's the most common one, let's say.
So then, just a quick question about soft skills. Like, how would you like? Because I feel like anyone can write anything about soft skills. I can write time management, and that cannot be good. But do you feel that it's worth to put into the curriculum still the soft skills, or
if you do have them, yes, and that's what you will illustrate during the interview.
Okay.
Because of course, when you go through an interview, so it's the other step, the next step. If you go through an interview, you won't just say to someone, oh, hi guys, I'm creative, I'm good in time management, and I'm a good problem solver. You know, if you don't explain behind that what you mean by that with examples, with illustration of your past experiences, you won't go anywhere with that. So of course, if you mention time management, you will use the STAR method that I told about a few minutes ago, and you will explain the recruiter how you gain that soft skills, in which experience, and how you can still improve it, etc., etc. So only mention the skills that you really that you really have, that you really gain.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a quick because I can see already that it's nearly 9 o'clock. That's the basics for your CV. So that's a reminder of what you need to do, the do's, and after that you will have the don'ts. So you need to have like a clear, of course, yeah, the structure needs to be clear, and the form, sorry, needs to be clear and structured. You need to be sure that you balance very well in your different experiences. You know, you can't have one experience with 10 lines and the other experience only with 2 bullet points, you know, so you need to make sure that you respect the balance in every experiences. You need to describe your experience, and you need to use the same, you need to be consistent and use the same kind of format everywhere. And as I said, of course, you need to be rigorous with the alignments, the spaces, grammar, etc., etc. And regarding the content, you need to put a statement / title at the top of your CV. So statement more about motivated student looking for blah, blah, blah. And you can put as well a title at the top if you have a specific job that you are targeting. But I think it's good if you only put it on the statement. Okay. You can, of course, explain the context of your past experiences. So, you know, the name of the company, if you did your internship in another country, roughly the dates, you know, the months and year, or the length of the job experience. As I said, you can explain your main task with key figures. So let's say you are a salesperson, you are a sales dev representative. Of course, you will need to give figures about how much money you earn, or how much, how many pair of trainers you sold, or, you know, anything which can show that you are a good salesman, for instance. Figures, numbers, exactly. Select your hobbies and interests to highlight the skills that you want to illustrate, and of course to show the impact that you had for each experience. So that's where you can use the STAR method, and mentioning the result, your impact on each job. Okay, so you have to tell a story. That's really what I was saying before, like you're marketing yourself. You need to brand yourself. You want the recruiter to be impressed by your career path, and you want the recruiter to invite you for a meeting. So that's what you really need to do.
And this is what you really don't have to do.
Yes, but I mentioned it before. No spelling mistakes, no typo. Do not use too much of bold, italics, because we won't be able to read your CV. No cursive letters, for instance. No more than 1 page. And regarding the content, yeah, I should put it the other way. Put essential assets. And don't put too many things if you have lots of experience already, but only relevant elements, because you want to target exactly what, you know, I mean, maybe, as we said, you worked, I don't know, you worked in McDonald's, for instance, when you were a student. That's your past experience from 5 years ago. Maybe it's important because you want to do a job in another shop or in another restaurant. So in that case, of course, it's important to mention it, because we know that you can use the cash, you can be a good cashier, you know, you can clean very well the place. But if it's not related to your new job and it's like 5 years ago, you can delete it from your CV, because it won't be relevant for the new recruiter. That's something you can still mention when you talk during an interview.
Okay. Oh, do we have useful sites?
Yep, that you can use. Oh, sorry, it's written in French on this one. It's different applicant tracking system examples. So if you don't know how it works with applicant tracking system, you can put your CV in there. You can download your CV, and it will be analyzed by the system. And you have a free version. You can use one free test on JobScan, and that will provide you with some concrete examples of improvement. The robots will provide you with some example, and it will say, oh, you need to improve this, you need to use that color, you need to put more information on that content, etc., etc. I don't know if you remember VMOC, Julia, but that's the one we used to.
VMOC, yes.
Yeah.
That's the
So
one that we were using.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same kind. That's just that not all of them are available. If it depends. So zeti.com, resumable.com, and iOrview as well. And it's a platform as well where you can get many informations, you get many sources. So I think that could be useful for you guys to have a look and to get some templates as well, CV templates, and get some advice on how to build your career.
Okay. Something more about hard skills.
Yeah, it was just skills and hard skills, and I wanted to give you a couple of examples of templates that you can use. For English CV, my favorite one is Novo Resume, the one at the top.
Yep.
I think it's a really good one. And CV Designer as well. Apparently, it's the most. It's a French guy that I know actually, who is really young, who created that platform. It's the most used in Europe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he became really, really, really famous.
Okay.
He's only 27 or something, and the platform is really good. And you can create as well cover letter on that, and of course Canva that you know, guys. And we have others like I mean, it's going to be in French, so there's not going to be impacting for you at the moment. But you have many other platforms. So if you are not really good with PowerPoint or Excel or Word, and you feel like you are going to struggle, to create an impacting CV, use like Novo Resume, and you will have like a specific template, and you will only have to fill in information inside. So that should make your life easier.
I don't know how you are with the time, but I have just a couple of questions that I think will be
Sure.
interesting.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so be fast. So from which education do you think we should start in the CV? Like from technical high school or uni? Imagine we have the masters. Should we include also the high school?
Yeah, depending, like if you have a kind of baccalaureate or
okay. If it's relevant and it's
okay. But if you are like in master, usually please delete primary school, kindergarten. No, but honestly, some people keep primary school. No, come on.
All right.
The whole story of their life. No, we don't want to have your whole story. We only want to have information, relevant information. So yeah, only uni and baccalaureate of the equivalent.
And then another question, like there is people that have 1-page resume and then one that have 3 pages resume. What is the difference between the two? Like what does the 3-page resume has that the 1-page resume does not have? So like if someone has a 1-page and wants to make it into 3, what should they add? And if they have a 3, what should they remove?
Yeah, that would be, if they have a 3, they should make only 1, because once again, if you go through applicant tracking system, they will only look at your CV if it's 1 page. And usually 3 pages is because you gave details. English CV, usually they are on 2 CVs. English people do it that way. But it's really long. They explain a lot of stuff, and that doesn't bring anything. So that's why it's important to be concise, 1 page, and just be straight to the point regarding your goals. Okay. So clearly 1 page. 3 pages, it means you are telling your whole life. I mean, it depends once again on your age and on your experience,
and also what you're applying for.
What you're applying for. But if you are 20, even if you are 25, you can't have a CV on 2 pages. It's impossible, because you just left your master or uni, or usually you don't have many years experience, So, but it's, once again, it's really personal. But in Europe, it's 1 page clearly, apart from the UK, Ireland, but otherwise it's 1 page most of the time.
And what if we didn't finish the uni? Should we, like, we didn't finish, not because we're still running it, but we've paused it. Shall we still include it? And like, how should we write it?
Depends if you are posing or if you're still in progress, you can mention in progress because you didn't get your degree yet. If it's a pause due to, depends on the situation, but everything is explainable on the CV. I mean, you can explain anything, everything, but the most important, and I haven't mentioned it before, it's never lie on the CV. Never lie, because people will find out at some stage.
I agree.
It's really important. Plus, if they want to do some check references with your previous employer, and if you lied on your CV, you'll be dead because you will be kicked out. And that happened to me many times as an HR director. I had to kick out people from my process because they lied. People are crazy sometimes, they can lie about stupid things which are not really relevant, and finally they lose everything. So that's why never lie. Be direct, be straight to the point, and give relevant and important information, but don't mention everything.
Okay, perfect. I don't think we have any more questions from chat that can. Just one maybe fast, very quick question. I don't know how much knowledge do you have on academic curriculums? So the one like for like someone that is writing papers. And if you do, if they don't have any published paper, what can they insert in their CV?
Yeah, of course, they need to have like a specific, all the people who have PhD and all that kind of thing, they need to include like a specific section, like.
And what if they don't have any paper?
That's okay. They don't have any yet. I mean, once again, you can't create something that you don't have. But in that case, maybe you need to embellish some other parts, or you really need to, in that case, enhance your skills. Like writing skills, to mention that it's something which is going to happen. Or you can mention it on your statement, like it's a goal for you to publish at some stage. But everyone is a starter. So I mean, we all have to try once before going to something, so people will understand. But yeah, that could be your goal. My goal is to publish.
That's a really interesting, like to have like as a goal, like something.
Exactly. That's why in the statement, it's really your goal. What you are. What do you want to achieve? What are you targeting? What are your goals?
Yeah. People, if you go on LinkedIn, you can just text her like telling, like since France receives a lot of requests maybe from LinkedIn, you can tell her, I'm coming from study time, so she knows, I have to send you that kind of document.
Exactly.
That will be perfect. So then she knows why are you there? Who are you?
Yeah, and if you do have like a question that you don't are asking online, online.
Or if you want to have more like a specific thing, like you can definitely France is super like available on LinkedIn every time. Like it's crazy how like I send her emails because I think like I don't know, HR might be like more reachable from email. No, text me on LinkedIn. Okay.
No, I receive too many emails and I control. I receive lots of LinkedIn messages every day as well, but it's easier to follow with the chat,
Yeah.
So yeah, chat is the best option if you want to get in touch with me.
Perfect. So thank you so much again, France. I really appreciated you for the time.